Hi, my name is Maffer, and I'm going to talk about the skeletal system, which is formed by all the bones and joints in our body, and also it is made up of 206 bones. The bones are arranged into two major divisions: the axial skeleton, which runs along the body's axis and is made of 80 bones divided in the skull, hyoid, auditory osseous, ribs, sternum, and the vertebral column. Then we have the appendicular skeleton, which is made up of 126 bones in the following regions: the upper limbs, the lower limbs, pelvic girdle, and the pectoral girdle, and that's mean the shoulder. Then we have the types of bones. First we have the lung. This is longer than they are wide, and they grew more than the other classes through childhood, so they are responsible for our height as adults. Then the short are about as long as they are wide and are often round in shape. The flat bones vary in size and shape, but have the common feature of being very thin in just one direction. Irregular bones have a shape that does not follow the pattern of the long, the short, or the flat. Last, the sesamoid are formed after birth inside of tendons that run across the joints. They grow to protect the tendon from stresses and strains at the joint, and they can help to give a mechanical advantage to muscles pulling on the tendon. Each end bone is called an epiphysis. The middle bone is called a diaphysis. Both grow towards one another and they eventually fuse into one bone. This is called metaphysis. Finally, an articulation or joint is a point of contact between bones, between a bone and a cartilage, or between a bone and a tooth.
I'm going to talk about the integumentary system. The integumentary system comprises the skin, hair, sweat glands, and nails. The skin is a barrier that covers our body and protects us from the entry of pathogens, such as microorganisms. It also protects us from ultraviolet radiation. The skin covers the entire body surface. It is the largest organ of the human body. It has an approximate area of 2 square meters and weighs 3 to 4 kilograms, which equals 10% of the total body weight. The skin has several functions such as mechanical protection, biological protection, regulation of body temperature, sense perception, hydroelectric regulation, synthesis of vitamin D, and an immunological function. There is thick skin and thin skin. The thick skin is found only in the palms of the hand and the soles of the feet. The thin skin is the one that covers most of the body. The skin is divided into 3 layers: the epidermis, the dermis, and the hypodermis. The epidermis is the most superficial layer of the skin that is in contact with the environment. The epidermis is composed of 5 strata: stratum corneum, lucidum, granular, spinosum, and basal. There are 4 types of cell in the epidermis. There are keratinocytes, melanocytes, Langerhans cells, and Merkel cells. In the dermis, there is the pilosebaceous complex, that it is constituted by hair follicles, and sweat glands, which are 2 types: eccrine sweat and apocrine sweat gland. There are 2 types of dermis: papillary dermis, which is located immediately below the epidermis, with abundant loose connective tissue and a large number of blood vessels, and the reticular dermis, consisting of dense connective tissue arranged irregularly and with fewer blood vessels. The hypodermis is under the dermis. Hypodermis consists of a layer of adipose tissue and loose connective tissue that functions as energy storage and preservation of the body heat. And the nails are structures composed of hard keratin. The most common diseases are skin cancer and acne. The skin cancer, it is slow-growing, locally invasive, and destructive, and the acne affects the sebaceous glands and hair follicles. It is a chronic inflammatory skin disease. Injuries occur most frequently in the face, neck, back, chest, and shoulders. It is associated with hormonal changes.
Well, hi, my name is Vanessa, and I'm going to explain the first part of the circulatory system. We need to know that this system is composed by the blood, the heart, and the blood vessels. The function of this system is to bring the blood from its main organ, that is the heart, to all the cells of the organism. Now, the first part that we need to know very clear is that the heart is a hollow muscular organ, and it is divided into 4 cavities, 2 aorta and 2 ventricles. There are also 4 factors that we need to understand pretty well. These ones are the following. Number 1, we have the arteries. These ones are in charge of transporting only oxygenated blood. Then we have the pulmonary arteries. These ones transport only deoxygenated blood to the lungs. Then we have the veins. These ones transport deoxygenated blood to the heart only. And then we have the pulmonary veins. These ones are in charge of transporting oxygenated blood from the lungs to the left atrium. Now we need to understand that the veins and the arteries are made of 3 layers. From innermost to outermost, they are the intima. This one is made of endothelium and connective tissue. Then we have the middle layer. This one is made of smooth muscle. And the adventitia. This one is made of only connective tissue. Now, getting more in detail with the main organ of this system, that is the heart. I already said that this is a hollow muscular organ, okay? And in a general terms, this organ has 3 main layers. The number 1, the outermost layer of the heart, is called visceral epicardium. This one is made of epithelium and connective tissue. These layers are from the outermost to the innermost. The outermost is called the visceral epicardium. This one is made of epithelium and connective tissue. The middle one, it's called myocardium. It is basically the muscle of the heart, so it's made of muscle cells. And the innermost and the last one, it's called endocardium. It is in contact with the cardiac cavities, and it's made of epithelium and also connective tissue. Now, talking about the blood, this is a connective tissue specialized. It is presented in the form of a liquid. It is estimated the volume of the blood in every person's body between the 5 and the 6 liters. The liquid part of the blood, it's called plasma, and constitutes 55% of the total. The plasma, that's the liquid part, it's made of 90% water, 9% proteins. This gives us a total of 99%, and the 1% left, it's made of gases and minerals. As I already mentioned, plasma is only 55% of the total blood in our body, so the rest of this total is made of elements and cells. Which cells? In general terms, we have the erythrocytes, the leukocytes, and the platelets. The first type of cells are the erythrocytes. These ones are basically, in general terms, red blood cells that are in charge of transporting oxygen to all the parts of the body.
In the membrane of erythrocytes are carbohydrates associated with proteins or lipids. Depending on the type of carbohydrate on the erythrocytes, they are classified as antigen A or B. If they have type A carbohydrate, the blood type is A. If the erythrocytes have a type B carbohydrate, they are type B. Type A have antibodies against B antigen and can only receive blood type A and O. It is the opposite in type B. People with blood AB can receive any blood type A, B, and O, so they are considered universal receivers. In contrast, people with O blood have anti-A and anti-B bodies and can only receive type O blood, but can donate the other type of blood, so they are considered universal donors. The system has a function of draining excess tissue fluid into the bloodstream, returning the antibodies formed in the lymph nodes to the blood, and transporting the cholesterol and fatty acids that were absorbed in the intestine into the circulation through the blood vessels. To reduce the risk of these alterations occurring in the cardiovascular system, we suggest measures such as decreased tobacco consumption,
campaign for the population to limit the use of salt, sugar, and fatty or fried foods, favor areas for pedestrians and bicycles and promote physical activity, insist on programs that reduce the harmful consumption of alcohol, insist on schools on the use of healthy foods, control of weight and blood glucose, since obesity and diabetes mellitus are factors that increase the risk of alterations in the cardiovascular system.
Hello, my name is Vanessa Garcia and I'm going to present you the immune system. The immune system consists of cellular and hormonal components whose function is to provide defending mechanisms against infections and tolerance to the components of the organism itself. Also, we can divide it into forms: innate and adaptive immunity.
The innate immunity. It is characterized as an immediate response. It is non-specific, that is, it is not offer a particular reaction for each pattern of pathogens. Also, we have the adaptive immunity, also known as specific or acquired. It is characterized as a delayed response because it requires more time to take action. It has memory, that is, vertebrates have cells capable of recognizing pathogens with which at some point we have been in contact. The cells that are part of the immune system are organized in lymphoid organs and tissues. The lymphoid organs are classified in primary and secondary thymus. It is an encapsulated primary lymphoid organ that in mature T lymphocytes, reach to be able to distinguish between what is proper and what is not. Lymph nodes. Its function is to filter the lymph, removing bacteria and other foreign substances. Spleen. It is the largest lymphoid organ in the body, filters blood, eliminates or inactivates antigens, and destroys all platelets and erythrocytes. Tonsils. They protect the organs from antigens that enter by air or that are ingested. Mold. Constitute a zone of contact with the external environment. In this, combat the possible entry of pathogens. The main diseases that are involved in this system are allergies like asthma, rhinitis, dermatitis, food allergy, or medication.
Skeletal muscles, tendons, ligaments, cartilage, and bones allow us to stand up upright and move. This system is constituted by the muscular cells and sheets of connective tissue that cover them and connect the muscular masses with the rest of the locomotor system. There are different types of muscles, such as smooth, skeletal, and cardiac. Their contractile capacity characterizes muscle cells, in other words, by their possibility to shorten their length and return to their original form. This feature is possible thanks to their capacity to carry out contradictional relaxation cycles through the action of contracycle apparatus, which is constituted by the cytoskeleton. Muscle cells are classified into two types, striated and smooth. The division of the striated muscle includes the skeletal and cardiac muscles. The striated one owes its name to the pattern of transversal striations that its cells show. This banding pattern is due to the organization in sarcomeres of its contractile apparatus. In the case of smooth muscle, the organization of the contractile apparatus is different, so bands are absent when a sample is seen through a microscope. Skeletal striated muscle fibers, or rhabdomyocytes, are elongated and multinucleated cells of cylindrical morphology with a pattern of transverse striae that are not easy to observe under a microscope. The cytoplasm of a skeletal striated muscle contains the contractile apparatus constituted by the myofields, which are thin filaments of actin and thick filaments of myosin, both of the sarcomere, that is functional unit of the striated muscle. Sarcomere, these are limited by S, Z lines or discs, which are formed by a protein called components of the sarcomere. Thin filaments of actin and other proteins. Thick filaments of myosin. Z, disc or lines. Contraction relaxation cycle in a skeletal muscle begins when cells respond to the nervous stimulus
which favors the release of Ca2. In the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, myosin sticks to the actin, and this one moves over the myosin, shortening the sarcomere. In the relaxed muscle, actin and myofilaments overlap very little. In muscle contraction, myofilaments move over those of actin, superimposing one another. This process causes the muscle to shorten and generate movement. Two main factors explain the association of the connective tissue with the muscle. The first is that the vascular elements arrive at the muscle through this tissue and open the capillary networks that nourish the rhabdomyocytes. On the other hand, the tendons connect the muscles with the bones. The ligaments bind the bones to each one. To perform different movements, muscles work in groups to control the movements of the joints. Diseases: sprain, an injury of ligaments caused by excessive distension, torsion, or tearing. Luxation is a more severe injury that involves a change in the position of the joints and a bone separation. Tear. This injury involves a muscle cell breaking. Because the muscle is a fiber, if it stretches too much, it can break, and a broken cell is a dead cell. The risk factors for muscular injuries are inadequate warm-up or not perform it before exercise. The best way to perform them is to accept the doctor's advice as to what type of exercise is the most convenient for each person.